I guess now that it looks like a few people are watching, I can show a few things that I've been up to for the last couple months. So, first of all, the song select screen is a lot different. A lot of it's unfinished, but there's a lot of different stuff going on now. But more importantly, this is the mod menu now. So, as I have it now, you just open it by pressing select. And you can change your options here. You can also enter a number like this. And you can set your speed mod that way. This row is probably not going to be here eventually, but I have it just thrown in there to test. But basically, the default option for this is automatic. So the default option for speed type is automatic, which is basically based on the rules that I have set up for whether a C mod is considered significant. It chooses either a C mod or an M mod. So if I play a song like this that has no different BPMs or stops or scroll changes or anything, it'll just put it on a C mod. So the main case that covers being if you're playing like a song with a different BPM that display BPMs it to make it C modable, it'll pick a C mod. But if you pick something that has like stops in it or whatever, it'll play it on an M mod. I don't have like any charts in mind off the top of my head that would that would show, but that's the point. So you can control it manually by doing this, and eventually, like I said, this row won't be here, but I'll explain what I mean by that. Also, this is another little thing. So you have all the normal options. If you put it on Xmod, you see how I have 970. This is just a little thing, but it's like something I like. You see how I've set it to 970? That is like my reading speed setting. If I change this to Xmod for whatever reason that you would ever want to use this, I can change this to whatever, just like, and then if I change it back, it's still set to my 970. And likewise, what did I have it? 5.1. If I mess with this and then I switch this back, it's still on 5.1. So those are two separate settings. That's something that's kind of cool. So, but yeah, the way you would choose CMod manually, like I said, is just do this, and it'll just, if you do this, it'll just always be on a CMod. And then you can, you can choose your mini percent, or perspective is probably going to have more stuff going on later, but right now it's just the options you know are about already. You can turn on reverse. I'm going to come back to this, but yeah, so note skin, pretty much normal. Some of these like hide background is not going to be in this menu. And this is also, this row is kind of broken and whatever. That's like not important right now. So there's several different menus. The cool thing about this, so I basically built like a whole menu system that allows me to like do stuff like this way more easily than it would have been before. So I can like organize everything the way I want it to. So, and a lot of this is kind of just like work in progress. I'm still filling stuff in and like doing stuff, but so here is here's the really interesting thing that I spent like all weekend on. So if you notice these selections here, 3 of these actually are like not like graphics. Like these ones are all like sprite based, but then starting from like this one, and this one are not sprites. They're just plain text. And the point of that is, if I press, you see how like, okay, like just as a little side note, the little start button with a ... that means if I press start, it'll open another menu. So, and that convention, that visual communication could change, it's just what it looks like right now. Anyway, so there's that right there. And So now I get this whole menu if I press start on that option. And this has a bunch of cool shit you can do. So this is like, so that other one was kind of just like a shorthand row for like stuff in this menu. So, so there's graphical judgment graphics and there's plain ones. Plain ones have a little bit more stuff you can do with them, which is why they're separated. Yeah, so there's 3 different plain ones. There could be more later. It's just a matter of having the font and the theme. And you can make it bigger or smaller. You can also, so this is like the amount of like the bounce effect. And I have it maxing out at 3 right now. You can also bring it all the way down to 0. And there was actually a bug there you might have seen. But anyway, if you have it on 0, there will be no bounce effect. And it'll just appear instantly and you won't see it have that little... So, I don't know. I don't know if it wasn't clear. Okay, hold on a sec. I don't know if like, so the thing about CMod is you can put it on a CMod just by doing this. Like it'll always be on a CMod now. The point I was making earlier is that I added this option and this is the default now. But you can just put it on a CMod if you want. Like if you're just always going to have it on a CMod, then you can do that. Anyway, so this is kind of like what FA Plus is now, where like you can just choose whether to show each of these windows. And then this is like this whole other thing. So, so there is a concept now. So when you're using a plain judgment graphic, which is the reason I added these in the first place, you can actually change like the way, like what text is actually displayed, and you can also change how it colors them. And these are actually, I can turn that on to, the ones that won't be used in gameplay are kind of like faded out. You can see that, but anyway, like, so there's a few of these that are like I think just these 3, and then like these 3 here are built into the theme. And then the other ones are loaded from files. So, which is why they're just like random stuff I was trying. But basically you can have like an INI file in either like the save directory for like for your Stepmania or in your profile folder. And it basically just like adds an option to this for either a label scheme or a color scheme. And you can add like as many as you want just from your profile. And that's like the whole reason that I added this like plain text option in the first place, was that so that you could do all this stuff. So like if you want to just like see whether you hit or missed, and just have it, you know, whatever, be colored or however you want, you can basically just have whatever combination of anything you want. So if you wanted to, based on the built-in options, if you wanted to have like what FA Plus would have looked like before, you would basically just put it on this and then put it on this, and then you have FA Plus. So yeah, like and this was one that I just put together because I liked how it looked. And not everything is like set up to work with these yet. The error bar colors it appropriately, but the combo doesn't at the moment. So like some things are like kind of unfinished how it has to all connect. But like this is like, yeah, just like a big thing that I've been doing for a while. So yeah. So yeah, I think that's about all there is to explain on this. And then yeah, so kind of like a bigger point to make with this, the fact that like I now with the menu system have like this ability to just add another menu for any like thing here and just pop up another menu with a bunch of as much stuff as I want. That allows me to like make a lot more options. Like for example, I'll just go into like, this is like the measure counter. I want to have more options for what the measure counter does or how it displays, right? And so the way I have my menu system set up now, for any one of those, anything in here, if I want to have a bunch of different options for like the way you can configure it, you know, I can just add another menu for that and just like do whatever I want. So like that's kind of like the bigger picture thing that this shows off here, is like it's kind of like, it just makes it way nicer than trying to like make a million different options and put them in option rows on the Setmania options menu, and it's just like awful. But yeah, and then so that also brings up like what I said before, was that this row isn't going to be here eventually. What I want to do is to just make it be like an option that when it'll just bring up a sub menu, because you're whatever one of these you use, you're probably not ever gonna be changing it constantly, or like my goal is that you won't be changing it constantly, right? So like most people just want to leave this on whatever they like to use, so it would make sense to like, you know, put that in a sub menu or something, and it's just like if you want to change your speed type like once in a while, just go there and do it. This is not like SMX because it's not a touch screen and it's controlled entirely with a controller, but okay. So the thing about tournament packs, what Alessandro just said. So I'm not opposed to the idea that some sort of metadata to the concept of a pack could define could like allow certain songs to like tell the theme to be CMOD. But what I don't want to do is to just like have the theme be looking for arbitrary like no CMOD in the song title or things like that. I'm like pretty against something like that, because everything that the theme is just doing normally, I want to be general use, like just like this is just how you would play the game normally. And but like ultimately I would like to have like a tournament mode kind of thing that controls a lot of things, like whether I have a lot of ideas for a sort of tournament environment kind of thing to build into the theme, but I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. But it would probably be something under that, you know, like to where you could define a tournament pack, and then each item in the pack would have some metadata that would tell the game like under this tournament you can CMOD it or whatever. That's sort of where my mind goes with that, but it's not something I would want to do where like based on regular CMOD rules you play a song out of a tournament pack and it puts you on a CMOD but you didn't want it to, or something like. I don't want that to be a thing. So yeah, the player options menu has basically been like the thing that I've been doing for the last like month and a half now. And it's still pretty unfinished. Like a lot of this stuff, like I don't want this row to be here. It doesn't even perfectly function the way I want it to. Actually, there's going to be something like life bar options that's going to go under this. But like, so I'm still like in the process of building all this. But like, the big sort of breakthrough is just the fact that like I built this whole menu system from basically from scratch that allows me to like do exactly what I want to do on like any screen, and just like make whatever. Yeah. So because like, yeah, the player options menu screen is like an actual disaster, like the normal one. It's funny because at the moment, like if I pick a song, you'll notice that little thing that says press start for options, it's still there because I haven't bothered to fuck with that. But if I go to that screen, it'll actually like break a bunch of shit. So I gotta remember to like not press start again there. But the main thing is that like certain options, a lot of options are like not loaded the same way anymore because of like these changes, like the way, you know, there's like all this stuff now, you know. So like, but I didn't bother to change the data that goes into the option rows for the player options screen. So if I go to the player options screen, it's gonna try to load all my mods and like everything fucks up. So, but anyway, that's not that important. It's just funny. Oh, also another thing is this is kind of a sneak preview right here. I'm not even going to say anything about this. It's just a menu that I created the concept of a menu for, so it's here and selectable, but there's nothing in it yet. That's going to be a really big thing, but I haven't gotten to it yet. So it's clear. It's at the moment it's just the back button that returns you to this top menu. Anyway, so you can just use your imagination about that one. Oh, okay. It's not step stats. What I will say, hold on. Okay, I'm like just catching up on the chat. So I do have plans to. Oh, hi! Thanks for the raid. I do have plans to basically do a lot of things with the step stats. That's not what the layout menu is. However, this right here, I do like. This is the. So if you see these three options exist here right now, that's just kind of a option row like placeholder that I put here. But the fact that there's a simple option should give some clue about that. And I do want there to be like a sub menu, kind of like the judgment thing, like how there's this whole sub menu. I want step stats to have this whole have a sub menu with a bunch of options for like what appears in the step stats area, and you get more options if you're in single player because that's what full implies. And also, yeah, thanks everyone. This is like, I wasn't really even expecting like anyone to be watching. But just, I guess it's not like that big of a spoiler, I guess, but like layout is just like most things I want there to be options for like where to put it on the screen. Most things on the gameplay screen. So like mainly things like the stream counter, the judgment text, the combo, the like the subtractive score number thingy, like a bunch of things like that. I want to just have like a thing in here where you can just reposition them to wherever you want. And that's also why, like, so right now I'm playing without, you can actually, this is a change from previous version of this theme. You couldn't have early, late, and error bar on at the same time. You can now, but right now I don't have any options for like moving them around, which is, you know, the layout menu is what that's, you know, what's going to allow that. But right now it's like if I turn on early, late, it's going to like overlap with the error bar and look ugly, so I just don't have it on. But the point is that you'll eventually be able to move it wherever you want. You'll be able to move the stream counter wherever you want and like put things based on your configuration wherever you want them so that they don't overlap or look bad or whatever. So that's what I want that menu to be. But that's like a lot of work that will come later. Oh, okay, that's a good question actually, because the way I designed it was like, this is just the song wheel, but there are a few issues with that as far as one player goes. One is that, like, yeah, it looks kind of weird on one player with like half the screen just having nothing on it. I actually think that's kind of nice because if I, like, in a way I think it's nice because if I want to have something on the other side that says like press start to join or something, like that might be kind of cool. The problem is if you're not in widescreen, like, okay, this is like, I have not tested anything on this screen not in widescreen. So like I've like taken some steps to like try to make sure that it's like, you know, I'm like scaling things appropriately for it and stuff, but I haven't like seen what it actually looks like, and I know I'm gonna have to fuck around with it because it always is that way. But it might turn out that like this type of view just won't work if you're not in widescreen. And in that case, my plan is to just basically move the wheel over and kind of spread everything out a little more so that there's more room to breathe. But yeah, like so it might eventually be that in this one player view, even on widescreen, I'm just saying that's the biggest case for it, is that if you're not in widescreen. But it might just be that later on I might make it to where if you're not in widescreen, it'll move the wheel over so that everything else has a little more room, but it's just something I haven't done yet. A lot of things on this screen are actually unfinished. If I go to, if I set it to not ITG, you'll see that like my grade and something of a clear type icon that is just me drawing a shape in MS Paint to be a placeholder, like they're there, but they're not positioned well and they don't look good, but that's just like me doing things. Also, those things, like those little like grade slots for packs are not there, you know, when you're in this view. There's a lot of things on the screen that are not finished. That's the point I'm making. But yeah. That could work, actually. Steps preview would require a lot of extra, like a lot more work to like make a whole like chart preview. Like making a chart preview would be pretty non-trivial, but it would be possible. So I'd have to like get the steps for the preview for every time you hover over a song, which means you have to read from a file and stuff. It's like, yeah. It would probably generate the preview like at the same time that it's generating like the stream breakdown and everything. Like this is just me thinking out loud, but yeah. One thing I wanted to mention before is that you'll notice that literally nothing has been done on this screen because I just haven't gotten to doing, like, even like everywhere else I've changed that like score font to be the other number font that I'm using, but I just haven't done it here, like, and like the judgment numbers and everything else. Like basically this whole screen I'm gonna like completely overhaul. I don't want it to be like this, it's just Simply Love but looks different background thing. I have a lot of just ideas for how I want, like what I want to be on this screen, and it's going to be a lot different, but that's going to be, you know, I have like the select music screen to do and then the menus and all that stuff. There's just a lot of stuff I have planned. Oh, I guess on that note, because I didn't fully elaborate on this. So earlier, before I was talking about how a sort of crossroads I'm at is whether I want to keep the graphical judgments in. So I can further explain kind of where I'm coming from with this now. So like I have these options that I really like, and I think this is a good feature to have all this, these like, you know, and I want everything to like work together with it in a way that like feels right. So like, yeah, I'm not like specific. I'm kind of just more elaborating on something I was saying before that I didn't explain in the stream yet. But basically, I want everything to like work together in a way that feels like it makes sense. So like right now, for example, if I put it on this, right, and then I go into any song, I guess I have to hit a judgment first. I don't know like what song has an arrow right away. Whatever. The point will become clear as soon as a note comes. I'm not going to play the whole song. So, like, you see how like the error bar colors along with it and everything. It's like the idea is like everything you're looking at, I want to like work right. And at the moment, I have it to where if you're using, hold on, I'm gonna stop this preview. If you're using a graphical judgment, I disable these because it's like you're not gonna be able to see the effect of it anyway. But maybe you want the error bar to be colored or whatever. But then if you do that, then you have just these static colored, like, you know, these judgments that have very little ability to actually modify, you know, like you can't color these, it looks terrible. So like, so then like I can do certain things, like I could make it to where you can pick a color scheme and make the error bar color with it, or I don't know, it just feels really like disjointed and like some things are fighting with other things this way. So there's a part of me that like is kind of just like this like looks okay. Like honestly, like I think these judgments look okay. So like I don't know. I'm still open to like whatever people think about this because like I'm honestly not sure what I'm gonna do, but it feels kind of messy to have both of these in. That's just how I feel about it.